So what about those people who want to moderate? I feel when people tell me they want to moderate, I salute you, because it's not something that I could do. And the thought of having to plan very carefully my week to moderate didn't seem possible to me.
No.
But people can, and people do. So how do they go about it?
Firstly, you're right in a sense, and it's something I often say to clients who want to control or moderate, whatever they call it. You know, that's you're creating a kind of grey area for yourself. You know, almost on a daily or weekly basis, it's a grey area. If you just say, "I'm never going to drink again," it's an off switch. It's a binary. It's a yes or a no, and the answer is no. Do you want to drink? No, I don't drink. And you can say that for the rest of your life. It's almost a very easy decision and a very easy strategy. Whenever I'm offered a drink, I will say, "No, thanks, I don't drink."
Yeah, and Claire's written a blog about that, because she's found that she found it a lot easier to say she didn't drink. And now that people see her with a drink in her hand, oh, well, I thought you didn't drink. Aha!
Yeah,
we were right. You would never succeed.
But it can, and something else Julian says is it's almost just saying no. It empties your mind of all of that thinking you need to do about alcohol when you're drinking heavily or when you're trying to control, because you're allowing some alcohol in your life, so it's not an off switch. It's kind of it's on, but not all the time. So some days it's off and some days it's on. But when it's on, how much am I going to drink? And how will I stop when I get to a certain amount that I've set with my head that I want to stop at? So there's a lot more involved in being a controlled drinker.
So how would you set your goals for moderating them? What sort of goals could you set?
Well, I mean, the classic one that people often say, you know, I don't want to drink in the week. I will immediately say to people, do you mean Monday to Friday? Do you mean Monday to Thursday? Do you include Sunday night as the weekend, or do you include Sunday night as a kind of school night?
And why do you make them be so specific?
Because we all, myself included, have a tendency to move our goalposts as much as we can.
So if we didn't stipulate Monday to Thursday, we'd go, oh well, Friday's the weekend, and so Sunday. So basically, you're really only saying I'm not drinking on Saturday.
Yeah, or I'm drinking on.
Oh, wait a minute.
I'm drinking on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and but then often people go out and work on Thursdays, and Thursdays are the new Friday, and all of a sudden there's lots of excuses. So I try and encourage people to be as specific as possible. Some people want to be specific about the actual days of the week they will drink, because their life is very, very regular and not prone to change. And they'll say, I want to drink on Friday nights and Saturday nights. I don't want to drink any more on Monday to Thursday. I don't want to drink on Sunday because I've got work the next day. Maybe they also would say, and I don't want to drink in the day anymore on the Saturday.
When does the day stop?
Exactly.
Okay, so you're telling people that you need to be really specific.
Yeah.
It's a bit like setting SMART goals, isn't it? Specific and measurable, achievable and realistic, and that you've got a target at the end, so you're very clear.
Because if you say that, so I only want to drink twice a week, okay. In what context? Well, it doesn't matter, but just twice a week would be good. Often then what happens is they come home on a Monday, they do what they normally do, they buy a bottle of wine, they drink the wine, whether they're with someone or alone. So they've drunk once already that week. Then Tuesday they do the same thing. Then they've drunk twice that week already. They haven't even got to the weekend. So then all of a sudden, okay, I'll start my twice a week next week. And so it's about, if you can be specific with the day of the week as well, then you won't try and trick yourself into kind of always moving the day you're going to stop the day ahead of yourself the whole time, because our present self always makes so many amazing plans for our future self, but at some point, that future self is then in the present and has to actually make the decision.
And it's that Monday thing, and it applies a lot to alcohol, but lots of people go, right, I'm starting this Monday, this is the start of the week, I'm going to become fitter, I'm going to eat better, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
By Tuesday, we've gone, well, that's not achievable, I'll start again next Monday.
Well, so that's because we're always giving our future self the job. My future self is super organised and fit, and a brilliant friend and sister and daughter, but my actual today self has to do all of those plans at some point, because it's in the diary. Today is the day I'm supposed to do that. Oh, I'll put it off to next week so you can do that. So firstly, be specific, be honest about, okay, you want to drink less than you do now. What does less mean? And for everyone, it will be different. I'm not trying to preach government guidelines here, but you will know in your head, what your dream scenario is of still enjoying a drink, how frequently, with whom, when, how many days off you want. And don't just sort of set the goals, these are the days I want to drink and this is what I want to drink on them, but also think of what you're getting from doing that. By doing this, I will feel fresher in the morning. I will be more productive at work. I'll feel less anxious in the morning. I'll definitely be going to the gym a lot more. I'll feel more proud of myself. I will be a more present parent. Link it back to your values, because the reason you want to do this is presumably so that life will be better, or you will feel better, or both. So remind yourself, by doing this, not drinking Monday to Thursday, I will be feeling better and healthier and doing more things and proud of myself and whatnot. So the rules you're setting yourself have a purpose, and they're to give you the benefits that you're hoping to achieve from stopping. Otherwise, why would you want to stop or cut down? So that's step one. A lot of other kind of rules people might put around are not drinking alone, not drinking on negative emotions, not maybe only drinking with food. That's one that I've known people do. So I'm only going to drink with a meal. Obviously, they don't eat 25 meals a day, but it's more about making the drink still have a sort of special social relevance, rather than just these kind of what can become very gratuitous drinks that you almost don't notice you're having. So sort of be more mindful about what you're drinking and when and with whom and in what mindset. So they're the classic ones. Sticking to certain drinks as well for some people becomes a rule. I only going to drink wine or weir. I'm only going to drink wine or weir.
What's wine or weir?
Wine or beer.
Oh, right, okay. Who knew? The other thing we were talking about the other day was the difference between drinking 4 glasses of wine in the evening and 4 single gin and tonics. In unit terms, 4 single gin and tonics is 4 units, but 4 glasses of wine could be 3, 6, 9, 12 units.
12 units if they're largest, yeah. So
if they're largest,
4 times as much.
So actually, you can still drink a volume with a bit of alcohol in that is far different in units and make you less likely to be hungover. Yeah. So that's also switching is also a possibility.
That's that's a good way to reduce your units of alcohol. And not everyone likes calculating units, but they are one way of actually working out how much pure alcohol you're drinking each week. And a lot of the work I do with clients is a 10% reduction a week over, let's say, 6 weeks. In the NHS, it's sort of 6-week groups and things like that. And 10%, somebody drinks a bottle of wine a night, is 7 or 8 units, and that's not even a whole bottle of wine. So it's a manageable reduction. Yeah, and they could actually also achieve that reduction in units for the first week at least by probably just switching from the 14% wine that they normally have, but they've changed the brand and the strength of the wine, so they're having a weaker wine, so there's less units of alcohol in the bottle. If that's the wine they then drink for the next couple of weeks, they've succeeded in probably reducing by more than 10%. And it's another way of helping yourself see progress and feel more in control of that progress. It's another, there's more than one way to skin a cat. And if you're struggling to have more days off, changing the strengths or the number of units down is one way of starting the process.
But this raises another question for me, which is once you've got alcohol in your system, it makes it very hard to, because the alcohol is affecting your brain and going, yes, press that pressure centre more, Yeah, you might have said you only wanted 3 units, but you're having such a great time, that your ability to make decisions just goes out the window. So is it easier to take days off rather than try and moderate when you're out?
It's the feedback I've had from my clients, and it's something I would probably agree with myself, from personal experience, but also from a logical perspective, that would also make sense. So days off are often regularly reported as being much more easy to achieve than controlling what you drink on the days you drink, for the reason Laura says. Alcohol is a disinhibiting, mind-altering substance, and one of the ways in which it disinhibits us is that it makes us sort of gives us alcohol short-sightedness. So we're far more concerned with the present moment when we're drunk than we are with future consequences. So it's not that we don't know there will be future consequences either, but we just don't care as much about them.
But if one of the things we want to do is stop those really embarrassing nights where we have blackouts and we don't remember what's gone on, then in some ways, even if you do decide that you're going to drink on 2 nights a week, you might want to have try and at least have some boundaries around how much you're drinking,
absolutely,
so that you don't end up, wandering. I mean, I saw a girl on the tube last night who was so drunk, she'd clearly been having a bad day, but she didn't even know where she was on the tube, and I just thought, she's really vulnerable, I'm really scared for her, I've got the station staff and all of that sort of stuff. But if you want to avoid those, then just caning it on the 2 nights you say your drink doesn't work either. So how are you going to moderate your unit?